So, hello everyone. Yeah, just let me confirm whether am I audible and visible. Just let me confirm it once. Okay. Let me just confirm it once. So, hello students, hello everyone. I hope I am audible and visible. Yes, this side Chartered Accountant Ashwini Bhanushali, your tutor and mentor for your ATX, which is one of your favorite paper. So, yes, a very warm welcome to all my students. So, we are going to have a short, quick revision for the upcoming paper December 2023. Okay, so without having any further delay, let's just start it with what are we going to understand it. Okay, just give me a minute. I'm just going to open things for you guys. Just a minute. So yes students, a very warm welcome to all my students over here. And आज ना students हम करने वाले हैं the first topic which is known as हमारे लिए about advanced tax के revisions. So okay. Without like I'm going into more of details of क्या है subject, क्या है क्या नहीं, हम क्या पढ़ने वाले हैं. Before that I just want to explain you the first important word which is known as ATX. Okay. So students, what is ATX? What is your paper? What is your syllabus? हम कौन सा like topic सीखने वाले हैं? What are my course content which I'm going through this attempt? Okay. And students, I'm so sure कि आपने मेरे पहले videos देखे हैं. This is not your first time कि आप मुझे देख रहे हो. Okay. So I expect कि आपने पहले भी ATX के videos देखे हैं. So okay, so if I go ahead with ATX, what is the meaning and what are the subjects? तो आप बोलोगे कि मैम हमें पता है like ATX is compulsory तो नहीं है, but it's an optional paper. So fine. Before I just give my intro, let me give my subjects intro for the first. Okay, so without having any further delay, let's just start with the subject of ATX. Okay, students, over here we are going to have this revision applicable for whom? Students, when I'm talking to you about the revisionary series, this is applicable for June 23 till the March 24 attempt. Okay, so अगर आप students ये बाद में भी video देख रहे हो and if you are watching it after March 24, आपको थोड़ी सी चीज़ों को रिवाइज करके देखने की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी. Okay. But before I go ahead, we are taking up this revisionary series particularly over here. I'm taking up this revisionary series particularly for our students who are going to give this exam in this December attempt. Okay, so fine, I'll just explain you some concepts of the examination perspective and all. So when I go ahead with the ATX subject, students, this becomes one of the favorite subject of most of the students who actually are planning to give the paper, that is the optional paper. So some of my students have a query that, ma'am, I know that there are 3 levels of your examination. Yes, first we have knowledge level, skill level, and then we are over here at a professional level. So ma'am, what if I have never did ATX, means I have never did tax, or I have never touched ATX, then what? Students, over here if I come up, we have some levels which is known as knowledge level, okay, skill level and professional level. So some of the students have taken up over here the exemptions and came up in the professional levels for sure. Once you came up in the professional level, I hope like you would have given 2 compulsory papers. Yeah, so obviously you would have given 2 compulsory papers, which is SBR and SBL. So there are a lot of students who would have already given up SBR and SBL, and now they are planning up to give a paper which is again optional. So if I go ahead with the optional papers, guys, we have 4 optional papers, out of which 2 you have to attempt it. So the optional paper turns around to be AAA, A, PM, A, FM, and my ATX. So students, over here, when students gives the skill level paper, okay, whenever my students give skill level paper, they get to know which of the subject they are feeling interest like. For example, if some of my students feel interesting for tax, they will choose obviously ATX. If some of my students says, no ma'am, I loved AA, maybe they take AAA. Some of the students feel, okay ma'am, PM is something which they can handle it very well, so they take up APM, and for FM, AFM, right? But those who have taken up exemption, I'm pretty sure that you would have taken up for sure tax as an exempt paper. So maybe some of the students have a super query that, ma'am, in the skill level we haven't touched tax, then don't you think this ATX will be very difficult for us? So I will say you students, when we understand the ATX, obviously it's a higher version of tax, but it never means that we don't study it from the scratch. Basically in the classes, in the lecture classes, what we do, when we take up ATX, we presume that the student have not learned tax. So we try to take it from the scratch. Okay. So this is what just the general overview of the subject is. So why we are understanding and why am I interested to take more of ATX, and why I emphasize students to take ATX as the first subject in the optional paper. So students, when I go ahead with the ATX, what is this subject's meaning? It's an advanced taxation. And taxation of which variant, like which country? So we know whenever I take up the advanced taxation, I have to take up for UK. Okay, I take up a UK variant. Okay, now a general overview. I'm just deleting it up all. I know all the stuff we have already having an overview of. Okay, students, when I take a general overview, I know many of the students who are ready for the examination. I'm expecting the students who are giving up the December paper will be very much into and have done a lot of revisions. So students, I know whenever you are taking up the ATX, you have a thought of process, and which is true also, that the passing percentage in ATX compared to other optional papers is very good. So basically out of 100 students, it's an expected average that 40 to 48% of the students pass in ATX. But this is not the ratio, not at all. This is not at all a ratio in your other 4 optional papers, right? Except ATX. So why is it so? So if I see AAA, okay, it is more or less on assumptions and the words. If I talk to you about AFM, it is more or less about the technical aspects. But when I go about, APM is also more or less theory. But when I go ahead with ATX, students, it is a combination of what? 60 to 65% of practical aspects, and remaining the theory. That too, we need to implement it. We need to interpret whatever we did it. So about the taxation, okay, about the taxation, about the subject taxation, it is totally different. Like, see, when I say ke FR, maybe some related you would have heard, or maybe you have learned in your colleges, maybe AA, AAA, you would have heard some or the other way. But when it is tax, students, it is not something like FR, it's not something like AA, AAA, there is no linkage. It is altogether a complete and a unique different subject, okay, which helps us to grow a better position where we are. For example, over here, like this is what I expect. Most of the students who are appearing for ATX, I am presuming that you have already given your double optional papers, only maybe pending, maybe. Means that the compulsory paper you would have already given up, right? So now maybe this may be your second last paper or maybe the last paper. So soon, guys, you are going to be a professional. So if I'm soon going to be a professional, maybe the world will also see me as a professional only. Means they would expect a hell lot of things out of me. Yeah, when I come up ahead, I'll be like, for example, in ACCA affiliate very soon. So maybe after giving up this exam, it will be your last paper, I hope, and you will be an ACCA affiliate very soon. Okay. If you don't take ATX, is there any opportunity loss that you are getting it? So students, most of the students who are in love with let's say theory portion tends up to take the AAA and APM. This is what I have seen. And those students who love more or less about practical aspects, even they take up AAA and AFM. Students have a phobia about the taxation. They'll say, ma'am, we haven't touched taxation ever. But students, when I am being like, okay, I'll just introduce myself. I am Chartered Accountant Ashwini Bhanuchali. Yeah, a Chartered Accountant from India. And I'm a practicing Chartered Accountant holding a COP, having my office, my consultancy firms since 2.5 years. And yeah, into teaching a lot more prior than that, okay. So students, over here, when I am a Chartered Accountant, there is no option for me for understanding tax, because when I come up in front of my client, he will be presuming that I know about the Indian tax. I am practicing Indian Chartered Accountant. So over here, what happened? Something which is presumed. So people will not ask me, they'll presume that I know something about tax. Students, same goes with you guys also. Once you are an ACC affiliate, see, accounting, you can hire a person to do accounting. Yeah, over here to audit, you can keep the people to audit. But students, for taxation purpose, they have to rely upon you. You cannot hire any other person. Yes, for tax, you have a degree, you have a dignity to understand. But what if I say you that you haven't learned tax? No, we just have to like, what I feel is we have to quantify, we have to like give my degree a proper place, right? I need to like make myself feel proud with my degree. No, I have the knowledge for which I am being qualified in the market, right? So this is what I want. Okay, students, even if I know you may be watching this video maybe after your examination or prior to examination or whatever the stuff is, guys, if you're planning to give ATX, I'm telling you, please plan to give ATX. And my plan over here goes this way. Maybe you must be also knowing this stuff. Okay, students, you know, if I'm telling you about AAA, APM and AFM, hey, is this subject going to change anytime? No, ma'am, it is going to be constant. But when I say about ATX, guys, we know June, yeah, the examination in June. We have June 23 to March 24. What's that, guys? Only this is applicable for this much because we have a FA. That is a financial act over here, the physical year. The act which keeps on changing because there are amendments. Yes, the tax rules have to change. The things needs to change. So over here, our syllabus also gets amended very soon. So over here now, I would always want my students, like for example, okay, you are over here with your professional examination, and let's say you are done with your SBR and SBL is already cleared. Maybe now you are planning up give the examination in the December, and let's say you have chosen up any other subject, anyone, and you have chosen up ATX. I'll tell you, if you have chosen up ATX and some other subject, please don't study another subject. Why? Right now, June attempt is already done. September attempt is already done. So guys, we have December attempt to appear for ATX. and I know where you would work very hard and like things will get very easily sorted. But what if because of some or the other unexpected thing happened? Like, see, I have given my full-fledged 100% for sure, but at times the paper comes out of box. I am not responsible for that. Like, I am not responsible for that. I have did my whole hard work, wholeheartedness. Okay, but what if for some or the other reason I could not clear my paper? Still, guys, you have the Still, guys, you have a March attempt to give the examination. Still, guys, you were left over with March. But what if I thought, okay, ma'am, I'll give AAA. So let's say I gave AAA, I cleared it, and over here I gave ATX, and I could not clear. And in June, the syllabus changed. So, students, I really request my students to obviously check one thing, that if you are planning to give two papers, and even if the December, see, any which ways the December month is over, like it's near to, like, sorry, the November month is near to over, so you're planning up harder for your December examination. So these things does not comes into your mind. But those who are planning to give in the March, those who are planning to give the examination in the March, I would like you to tell that if you are left with two papers, go ahead with another paper, don't come with ATX. And if you're just left with one paper, try to complete the paper is in a scratch. That's all. Okay, so this is what I just wanted to tell you about it. Okay, now when I go ahead with my concept of ATX, okay, my favorite subject of ATX, okay, over here now, students, over here, if I give ATX, will I be helpful some or the other way? Or like ATX is not going to be helpful for me like in future also. So students, like I told you, in India, it's something like, if I'm earning from so and so ratios, I have to pay tax. But if my income is below so and so exemption level, I don't have to pay tax. But students, this is not a scenario for the UK. Even if you earn more than £1, you have to file the income tax return. That means the income tax return is to be filed by a chartered accountant there. So who is going to be responsible for filing up the income tax returns? It will be nothing other than us. Yeah, we are going to be liable. We have a responsibility. So don't you think you have such a beautiful advantage of expertising yourself into the taxation field? Yes. If I have so beautiful aspect of getting a good amount in the taxation field, why not to go ahead? Why not to go ahead? So this is where I just want my students to love ATX and plan to give ATX. For example, in your ACCA, let's say you have completed your ACCA. Let's say you have completed your ACCA, for example. I'm just closing it up, okay. Let's say you have completed your ACCA papers and now you're planning to give some another examination. Let's say, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, you have completed your ACCA papers and you're planning up to give basically ICAEW, okay, which has in all 15 papers. And if you have completed your ACCA, or maybe you have given ATX, yeah, ATX, you will get out of 15 papers 12 paper exempt. So now you're just liable to give 3 more papers and you are done. Yes, students. So here, even this can be very much helpful. So I'm just giving you a higher version, that's all. Okay, cool. Okay, now without any delay, I just wanted to introduce myself, yeah, about your tutor. That is, I'm really expecting you have seen my videos prior. It's not the first time. Okay, so myself, Chartered Accountant Ashwini Naveen Bhanushali, and over here, as I told you, I am a practicing Chartered Accountant holding a COP, and along with that, like it's been 2.5 years or almost near to 3 years, like I do have my own practice, which I'm running through with all the income taxes, GST laws, regulations, appeals, and everything like whatnot. Yeah, but that is what I was more of loving into, dealing with the clients. But later on, I just got to know somewhere my passion is spinning up in like behind the professional level. So I just loved up and I just thought of like, no, I want to explore something more which I am more better at. Okay, so yes, actually I'm into teaching since last 4 years, and then I cleared my chartered accountancy, and over here, students, I do run my firm too. So basically, students, I am over here teaching up these topics, okay, of the subjects which is known as one of my favorite, that is SBR. So you get a lot of concepts, and if I see YouTube about my lectures from SBR, ATX, one of my favorite tax, and AFM. Along with that, I do take DIP IFRS also, but that's fine. For right now, it's the 4 topics which I just take it up. Over here, this side chartered accountant, your faculty, basically Ashwini Bhanushali from Lakshya over here. So if I just say my word, my name, and maybe my dignity, it's okay, fine. But when I say Lakshya, I know everybody knows Lakshya. So what is Lakshya? Who is Lakshya behind us? Okay, yeah, students. To be very frank, we are a great reputed firm. We are a great reputed institute which makes aspiring chartered accountants, which makes aspiring candidates, not just in the field of any one or single two courses of commerce. No, you touch whatever the courses of commerce are, we are going to be at the top notch. That is, no matter it is CA, ACWA, CMA US, CMA India, CS, CAT, CIMA, and BO. No matter whichever commerce industry you touch, it's basically IIC Lakshya, that is Indian Institute of Commerce. Lakshya, we will get a huge big platform for studying. Okay, and over here, when I say about Lakshya, I don't even need to explain anything about Lakshya, because I know those students who are actually from Kerala, maybe or maybe knowing it. So like in Lakshya is a super renowned institute for ACCA courses in Kerala, because we have captured a so huge market in Kerala that like like uh, Lakshya is like a family to Kochi, like literally a family to Kerala. Yeah. So ACCA coaching offered by Lakshya is like almost super. Over here, Lakshya help us, like we help us to gain the knowledge, skills, ability, and all. Over here now guys, we were having first of all the offline classes where we used to interact with the students. But yeah, because of a lot of technology which is gonna be changed, yes, we are over here with the offline and online classes too. We are going to be with the offline and online classes too. Prior we were having only the Malayalam batch and English batch. But yes students, now we have introduced the Hindi batch too. Okay, so it's not like Hindi means completely you are going to learn things about in Hindi. No, it's basically Hindi English. So it's an English batch, a full English batch, and a Malayalam and English batch. Okay. So this is about me and my Lakshya. Now we are at a position to understand what is my revision plan for this shorter period of 5 or 7 days. So yes students, over here this time I have thought of like whatever I have taken up for a revision series in September 2023. Let me not take that. Let me not take that. Why? Arey Papa, it is obviously there in your YT, so please do check. Please do check. Okay. So for this December 2023 onwards, I have taken up already in September 23. I have taken up an income taxes computation. So over here, I'll be taking up some topic which students leave and go, which they don't know, are helpful from the perspective of marks. And students, I'm telling you, I got a call from my student and she was very unhappy. Why? Because allegedly she scored 49, and I know to pass it requires 50. Not even 1 mark extra was being allotted to her. Allegedly she was like cursing her, like she was cursing her luck so much, like ma'am I didn't got it, like just what about 1 mark ma'am, like. So at that time I understand that students, people leave all these topics over here. Income tax administration, what's that? It's very easy. It's very easy. Students need to know even that interest. For example, the company has paid less tax, or maybe they have paid late tax. Please pay interest, please pay penalty. Students don't know that. Yeah, students don't know that. And I want you guys to know that. Then we have also taken up some good question I will take for computation. But for income tax computation, I have already explained. You can please check my September 23 video out there. Please do check it. Yes. Then we'll be understanding the second point, which is tax planning. Then the personal finance and the corporation, that is concept of personal tax planning and personal finance, like how am I going to keep it, and the corporation tax. Then some concepts of inherent tax and value added tax too. So these are certain important topics. I mean small topics I'll be taking up this time, but an important one too. Then we'll be doing guys the 2 pre-mock papers. So 2 mock papers. So what is mock papers? Hey, am I supposed to do mock papers? Or ma'am, it's okay ma'am if I don't do it. Students, if you want to get passed, do mock papers. Otherwise, take 1 more attempt and then do a mock paper. That means if I want to clear, I cannot get cleared unless until I do the mock papers. And mock papers means this is a question paper. I will just see, ma'am, this I know, ma'am, this I know, ma'am, this I know. You are not going to do this in your examination. That, ma'am, I'm going to type it in the examination. So do practice in the CBE practice platform. So what is CBE practice platform? Students, if you haven't practiced in your CBE platform, this is the right time. It's like very less days, maybe like 12 days spending. Please do your mocks in your CBE platform. Please do it. Even if you get less marks, I appreciate it. Why? If I get less marks today, it's a surety that much less marks you will not get in your examination. Along with that, I will understand like where am I good at? What are the things which I can handle it? Where am I not so good at? So what are the things which I need to focus more on? So it will be a very good study plan, a shorter span of study plan which will help me to achieve the paper. Yeah. Okay. So over here, now we can go ahead with the paper pattern of ATX. Okay, when I go ahead with the paper pattern of ATX, everybody knows, ki ma'am, you will say ma'am ATX now is basically 100 marks paper. Okay, it's 100 marker paper. Okay. So what if I say you, for 100 mark paper, how much time do you get? So you will say, ma'am, 3 hours and 15 minutes. So basically it's 195 minutes I get it. So what do you think for 1 mark, how much minute can I spend? It's like something like 1.95 minutes. For 1 mark, I can spend this much minute. But what if I give you a good news? That students, you don't have to write for 100 marks. Then, if I told you, okay, students, we are just going to write it for 80 marks, only 80 marks. Like seriously, yes students, we just write it for 80 marks. I'll just erase all these things. We'll just write it for 80 marks. So, but ma'am, my paper is for 100 marks, right? Yeah, but I want to write it only for 80 marks. Means I have to write my technical answers over here for ATX for 80 marks, whereas remaining 20 marks will be allotted to me. That is known as a professional marking. That means if I write my 80 marks paper so beautifully, so professionally, I get additional 20 marks. That shows that when you're going to attempt your ATX paper now, when I'm going to attempt my ATX paper, I'll be having a surety. I'll be having a surety like maybe this will be my last paper. Afterwards, I'll be a professional, right? So when you're going to be a professional, definitely you need to address your client in a professional manner, right? For example, if I'm writing some or the other way to my client, I want to give him some notice. Maybe I want to like address him something. Okay, this is important. Please have an eye on that. So I just cannot take a piece of paper and okay, this is the point. See, client, see this. No. Client is going to pay you for that. So if you do all this stuff, client will like feel, okay, what is this happening? So maybe he will just wondering and he'll be like replacing you with some another because there is a huge competition. So even that will not work. So I have to write my paper considering the professional markings. So if I say professional markings, for what are the professional markings going to be allocated for? It will be first of all for your communication skills. Okay, communication skills. Then how will I evaluate a function and analyze it So for analysis and evaluation, I'll be getting marks. Yes. Then I'll be getting a good marks for understanding and having a skepticism. For skepticism, I'll getting the marks. And last, I'll be getting for the commercial acumen, how I'll write the answers. Okay. For commercial acumen, I'll get the marks. So I'm just deleting it off. Okay. For here now, students, if you see this, I'll get 20 marks for writing it in better way. Okay. So for writing it in better way. So 80 marks I have to attempt the paper. 20 marks I'll get it like professionally. Okay, professional markings I'll get it. Students, now when you see the paper, we know that my paper is going to be for 100 marks for sure. But out of which I will write only for 80 marks. But still, my paper pattern is to be divided into two parts. Yes, my paper is divided into two parts, section A and section B. Yes. So in your examination, guys, we have two sections. And in your examination, it is your call. Whatever section you want to start with. Like, are you interested to start with section A? You can go ahead with section A. If you feel like, no ma'am, I think like section B is more better for me. Like, I am good to handle section B. Go ahead with section B. Okay, go ahead with section B. But obviously, you will not have any more time, more than 3 hours and 15 minutes for sure. So when it is section A, guys, section A, we have, let's say, one case study worth 50 marks. Okay, so there is one single study. Yes, there is only one case study which will be having a lot of exhibits down to it. but only it's one case study. So it's not like 5-10 case studies where you have an options like in your skill level you were having MCQs and all. Like this stuffs are not there. No, it's a complete subjective and theory based paper. So we have one case study worth 50 marks, out of which I will write my answer for 40 marks and 10 marks I will get professional markings. So for 40 marks only I will write it. Okay, for only 40 marks I will write it. Yeah, okay. So how much minute I will write it? Only for 40 marks I will write it. When I go ahead with section B, there is also 50 marks, but over here we have two case studies, like 1 and 1, which is 25 markers and 25 markers, out of which there I will be writing it over here. If you can see, 20 marks I will write it. Here also 20 marks I will write it. Remaining 5 marks are over here also and over here also professional. So if you see, 10 marks professional, 5 and 5. Don't you find nearly 80 marks you will write and 20 marks are your professional markings? So can you tell me, to achieve 1 mark, how much minute I can spend? So to write 80 marks, I have like nearly 195 minutes. So per 1 mark, I will require how much minute? 2.4 minutes I will require. Okay. So this is what just an analysis of what my paper is going to be there and how am I going to attempt it. I hope you guys understood it. Yes? Are you getting it? Pakka pakka? Yes. So let's go ahead and read it over here. Okay. To get ready for examination perspective, what are the things I should go ahead with? So yes, I'll definitely say please go ahead with some technical articles. Yeah, support articles. Please practice in the CBE practice platform. And along with that, material, from which material? Ma'am, should I read it from Kaplan? Should I read it from BPP Learning? Where should I read it? I'll see you. Please read it through ACCA Study Hub. This is the live study hub which we take it up in the classes. And this is all I'm going to show you. Last but not the least, over here, we are going to understand all those factors, and again, we are going to start up with the chapter today. Okay, so over here, I am going to add a lot of things to you guys, but it's just for the reference to those who have not yet started the preparations, or maybe the students who want to know the base. For them only I have given it up. Just a minute. Just a quick minute. Okay. Yeah, I think it's visible. Okay. Now students, I haven't taken up any subject. I haven't taken up anything, because I just wanted to go ahead with the meaning of what is tax, like what is income tax. Yeah, because today my concept is not about any other taxes but about income tax only. So I'll be just having an eye board view right now. Okay. So before I go ahead, I just need to know one word which is known as taxation. So we are going to learn about the taxation this quarter. Okay. And we are going to learn the taxation from the perspective of an individual. So if I'm talking to about the individual, what is an individual going to pay taxes on? So we know, okay ma'am, whatever he earns, he has to pay tax on that. Yeah. So if I ask you what he is earning, so he'll be saying, ma'am, he'll be doing somewhere job, he'll be earning salary, ma'am, he'll be having his own business, he'll be having some payments like to himself that way. So when I say guys about an individual over here, an individual has to pay taxes on whatever he is going to earn. So what are the things like he's going to earn? If you can say, if he is doing somewhere job, so don't you think he'll be earning salary? Yeah, he'll be earning salary. If he has his own trade and business, maybe he'll also be earning some profits from there. Maybe if he's having the house property, okay, so maybe he'll be earning the rentals or the investment properties and so on, right? So if there is a person, maybe he can earn something more also. Like for example, if he has invested something money, like if he has invested in some way, so maybe if he has some investments, so he'll be earning, let's say, dividend or maybe interest or whatever the stuff is. Yeah. So if that person is earning any sort of incomes, if the person is earning earning any sort of income over here, if the person is having earnings of any sort of incomes, this individual, he has to pay taxes to government. He has to pay taxes to government for sure. So why does the government collect tax? So what do you think, Baba? Government has lot of things to be done. Yeah, and obviously it's been understood like the government has to be like the government has been set up for our for our people, like for our wishes. So if I pay government, they'll be making the roads better, etc., things better. So that is what the government's responsibility is. So obviously the government will always be interested that yeah, in this current year, let there be the highest taxpayers in the country, so that the pockets of the government are fulfilled. Yeah, so this is what just the normal initial background of the income taxes is. Okay, we'll just take a break of 5 minutes and I'll show you about the platforms that we are going to learn it with. Okay, yes. So yes students, I just wanted to show you one normal concept, okay, normal concept, which is something which I know that you all must know before you plan up for your examination obviously. So that is, if an individual is earning any sort of incomes from any of the sources, they have to pay taxes to government. So if I say you, whether the taxes what they have to pay to government, is it something which is fixed? Like maybe if some company is let's say having different thing, like for example, if an individual has earned 1 lakh, so they have to pay, let's say for example, they have to pay 10 percentage tax. So they have to pay, let's say 10,000 tax. Is it sure? Or is there any benefits which is available? Yes. So we know, okay ma'am, there are lots of exemptions which we need to know. So there are a lot of 2-3 things which we need to know. First of all, there are a lot of exemptions. Yes. There are a lot of deductions. Yes. There are a lot of allowances and disallowances. Means considering that we need to know okay, what amount of taxes they have to pay it, isn't it? For example, in the current UK taxes, we know, let's say a company is having some X amount of income. So in UK now, the government would encourage people to have certain savings, okay, to have certain savings. So the government would want okay, you save somewhere some money, and if you're saving some money, that savings will not be taxed. Let's say for example, over here, if let's say the individual, if I'm talking about the individual, okay, I'm talking about the individual only. Let's say the individual's income is, let's say, 1 lakh pounds, okay, cool. If he is having somewhere, he is putting his money in the savings account, let's say, and if he's saving some, let's say 5,000 pounds also, so you know what guys, he'll be only having a taxable income, means he'll be only taxed in the income which is pound 95,000, okay. So this is what the individual government would want, and individuals to have an ISA, that is individual saving account, where they can just have a habit of saving the money. For example, another example I can give you is, let's say an individual is having some income of, let's say, pound 1 lakh, okay, same. And if an individual is doing some charitable donations, let's say if I have made a donation of, let's say, 10,000. So now, Baba, I have to only pay taxes on 90,000. So what do you say? Okay, ma'am, for example, if I'm having an income of, let's say, 1 lakh, and if I did some household expenditure of 50,000, so will I pay tax on only 50,000? So no. Household expenditure and all is not your deduction. It's not your exemption. So students, there are certain thing. Only on the certain expenditure we get the relaxation. Okay, Baba, now we are not supposed to pay taxes on. For example, certain companies get certain benefits also. Benefits means they get some tax reliefs. For example, if I have set up a business of electronic vehicles, because we know today the price of the petroleum has increased huge. So if I've set up an electronic vehicle, okay, into the business, so the entrepreneur gets some electric vehicles, not electronic, I can say electric vehicles. Electronic will not be a proper term. Yeah, I'll just term it as a proper electric vehicle, okay. Okay, why it's not coming up, just give me a minute. Okay, when I'm talking to you about guys electric vehicle, in certain companies, if it's electric vehicles, the government has said that you are going to pay the taxes at the rate of, let's say, 20%. Okay, so they are getting some relaxations, maybe for example. But if I am having, let's say, I have developed a business of, let's say, some alcoholic drinks, or maybe cigarettes and all. So maybe the government can tell, "Acha, for this you have to pay a taxes of 40%. Means what, guys? The government is allowing them to pay more taxes. Why allowing? No, they are imposing them to pay more taxes, because the government wants to promote these type of businesses and not this. Why the government wants some, why do the government impose tax more on certain things? Because the government feels that if they impose more tax, maybe some of the other people will stop doing this business and maybe they can switch to another way, right? So to limit their transactions, so they are going to pay more or the less taxes. So there are certain things like UK government sometimes discourages what the businesses of motoring by imposing fuel duties. Yeah, because more the petroleum, more the duties. So they enhances more duty. Along with that, cigarette, oh yeah, smoking and drinking, even that is something which the UK government does not promote. Along with that, certain businesses which emits a lot of CO2, even that is what the government does not want. So when I'm on and on saying the government, which is the government who is going to be liable for collecting the income taxes from an individual? Who is going to be? In India, guys, in India we have income tax department, IT authority. Yeah, we have income tax department. But when I talk to you about my UK, we have HMR. Oh, I'm sorry, it's HMRC. Yeah, H it's HMRC. What's this HMRC? So you know, maximum students know only this word. HM, revenue and custom. Yeah, even I was knowing that only. But do you know what is HR? HM. Yes. HM is basically in UK there was a queen. So they were denoting the queen like her majesty, that way, her majesty's revenue and customs. Okay, her majesty's revenue and custom. So HMRC is a government department who is going to take care of whatever the areas of the UK's tax laws are. Means they're going to implement the UK's taxation policies. They're going to give us certain guidelines. They're going to formulate some Bear Act and all. So this HMRC is going to have an eye on the system of what the things are getting processed. Okay, so this is some initial concepts of what I need to explain you. Catch, this is the background. Okay, this is the background of your HMRC's revenue and customs, about the taxation authorities and all. So over here today we are going to understand some initial points of the administration and all. But before that, I really want you guys to have an eye on what, guys, over an eye on what are the course content which you have to learn it, in case if you have not yet registered for your December attempt, maybe if you're planning up for the future attempt, maybe in the March or upcoming attempt. So I want you students to know from which material to study. Is it only the Kaplan kit which is fine, or do you have to study from another kits also? So guys, I would want you to know that over here our institute has provided us with the best material ever. Best material ever means the most prettiest material, the most purest material, which is known as ACCA study resources. And I'm really astonished that I have heard about people don't know about the ACCA materials instead of giving so many papers. So I want you guys to study this from ACCA resources. For that, I'm gonna show you our ACCA study resources as well. Examination, CBE practice platforms too. Okay, for that, just give me a minute. I'm just trying to open it up. Okay, I'm just trying to open it up. I think like it's visible. Yeah, okay. So on that Google, yeah, whatever Chrome you can do it, you can have myacca.acccaglobal.com. You can just click on that, and that, students, I'll be getting my user ID, login, password. So yeah, I am not the student for obviously, so I'll not be having my user ID's password and all. So I have used it, my students' user ID and password. So I hope like everybody must be accessing this. So please do and check it your own user ID and password. If you go ahead with your user ID and password, over here this navigation will be there. You will be navigated to this page where you will be having your own profiles and all. Where in the left hand side, guys, I have dashboards. Down to that, I have my qualifications. Please click on my qualifications so that you can have an access of how many papers you have given, how many papers you are left with. So he's my SBS student, so he has already given up his paper, and yeah, over here, so there are remaining like 3 papers are yet to remaining, okay, to be an ACCA affiliate. Okay, cool. Now I can either book my examination, I can understand about my history, find the tuition on public demand test I can give, etc, etc, etc. But if you see, the 2 most important topics over here we have to have an eye on is CBE practice platforms, where I have to practice like exactly. You will navigate a page, you will navigate a platform where whenever you will go to give the examination, you will find exactly the same scenario, So it is something, why to get delayed when I can get the access today itself? Means we are going to practice how am I going to write it in your piece of the paper in your examination. So is it something you will write it with your pen and paper, so it's obviously not. So we know, ma'am, that we have to write it in the computer-based examination. So yes, how will I go ahead that? How will I write it? And everything is to be understood as per the CBE practice platform. Okay. Okay. And then, Baba, I have my ACCA study resources, and this is what I wanted to show you. So ACCA study hub. Okay. So before I explain you what are the things which we need to know, I just wanted to clarify one more thing. Students, if it is AAA, it is with some assumptions. It's AFM, it's something which is technical. But if it is ATX, you will say, ma'am, there are so many rules, regulations, ma'am, so many rates, we have to remember it. But guys, a big congratulations to you guys, because in your examination, you will be provided with the text chart rates. Means, over here, you don't need to learn the tax rates. Things will be provided in your paper. Things will be readily provided in your paper. And the help chart, you will be having the text rates. So on and on. So I don't need to learn the text rates. Just give me a minute. I don't need to learn the text rates. I just need to know whenever maybe this is your last paper. So you will be a professional soon, right? So after being professionals, if some of the client comes and asks you, so it will not be a shame thing for you that, okay, yeah, just give me a minute, I'll just check it once. It's okay, you can say. Why? Because you are not supposed to remember each and every rate, because rates are nothing which is constant, right? You can have Google, you can have anything, but at least if someone came and asked, you said, I don't know, then you will find the Google. It is not a proper way. So things over here in the ACCA examination, which I love the most, is they want us to be a professional with a knowledge, along with that smart work, and not just the hard work. Okay, this is what I love it. My students knows I have a huge like habit of drinking water. Maybe in all the classes they will see me drinking water only. So yeah, it's good thing. It's good thing. So okay, students, over here, whenever I'll be navigating, I am over here with the subjects. So many subjects now. But guys, I need to select my paper. So obviously I have most recently used my ATX. So I'll just click on my ATX paper. And if you see, I have, like, if I can highlight it, it's June 23 and March 24 onwards. So why it's June 23 and March 24? I told you, Baba, every year the Finance Act changes. So right now, whatever the Finance Act is, it's applicable for your June attempt, September, December and your March. So obviously already 2 of the attempts have gone. So now it's only the December and the March which is still pending. And then there will be a revision in your rates and stuff. Okay, that's fine. So I'll go to examination over there to find out a lot of things. Okay, I'll just open it up. And over here, if you can see, yeah, it will hardly take some 2 minutes, and it obviously takes. So over here, I'll be having this stuff, which is my study text. What are the content? What are my course and content? Like every chapter, whatever we are going to go ahead with. So students, in this course, in this 5 days of revisionary small series, I'm going to take up the first chapter, that is Income Tax Administration. I'll be taking up chapter number 1. Yes, guys. I'll be taking up with you guys with another topic, which is basically over here, if you can see, personal tax planning and personal finance. Okay, some concept of corporation tax I may take up with you guys. I'll be taking up inherent tax. I'll be taking guys up with you the VAT, value added tax. Students, I would like to give you one like a hint, not but a request, that guys, if you want to check my chapter number 2, that is income tax computation, Baba, I have already explained you for the September 2023. Like, I have taken up a huge time to explain you for the 30-mark paper, that is income tax computation. So please do check that videos also. Please do check that videos also, because it is highly important. Okay, it's highly important. So over here, whenever like a student wants to study or want to have an idea of the subject, so where should they go? As per my expectations, they should first and the foremost, they should know about what is the course content. So they have to understand their study text. So it's a study text. So here, about the notes, they have told about the syllabus. So if you see, there is a syllabus and guide. Do you think over here, syllabus and guide? Please click on syllabus and guide. So over here we'll be having what is my syllabus and what am I going to read it in the syllabus, okay, about my UK taxation. So students, I have already downloaded this stuff prior, so I am just going to open it up because it is any which way smaller and I don't want to make it look like jumbled up. So I'm just opening it up, a syllabus and guide for us. Okay, so this will any which ways be very helpful for us to analyze it. Okay, I think like it's visible. Yeah, yeah, cool, it's visible. Yeah, so over here if you say it's an advanced taxation and that too ATX UK. So first word which I always want to highlight is ATX UK. Guys, it's ATX UK. Please, please, please learn it's UK. It's UK. Whenever you find it for your examination, please don't book any other variant. It is only UK. It's only UK variant, okay? And that is designed and applicable for June 23 and March 24. That's all. It's for June 23 and March 24. Okay. So over here, we are going to understand what are things. So over here, if it's just given some guidelines, I'll tell you what all things are important for us. Over here, it's just like we have 3 levels. There's knowledge, skill level, and some different levels which we need to go ahead with. Over here, it's something which we know, right? What is the applied knowledge? Then what is my skill level? Yeah, and over here, if you see my strategic professional level, which is 2 important level, and we have to pick any 2. Maybe I know most of the people will pick, let's say, AAA and maybe AFM, but I am the tutor of a PM and ATX and SBL, okay, SBR. So just know what things people will not take. I'm taking up that subjects because I know it is something which normal people will not love it. But I really want you have, you need to know, Baba. Just see, I'm telling you for your knowledge only. For example, just from the exam's perspective, let's say if there are only 2 options. So let's say you have chose, let's say AAA and AFM. Okay, let's say you have chose AAA and AFM. Okay, you have not chose this. It's okay if you not chose this. What if you not chose this? I really want, after giving your exam, after you be an ACCA qualified, if you be an ACCA affiliate, I really want you to just take some time and study about the taxation, because you know after being an ACCA, people will be expecting that you have some tax knowledge with you. So where to go? Then where to go? Should I take up the Bare Act and start reading it? Just have a glance on this. Maybe like, see, like I don't know whether it will be very cheesy or not, but to be very frank, students, over here now we never study for clearing the examination. I study only for getting some knowledge, and what I know is for being an ACCA or any chartered accountant, like it's ACCA or CA, tax is the first purpose that people will expect you to know. So yes, it's important. Okay, up next over here, I'll just mark it important if things are there. Okay, so over here, when we know, guys, what is my passing marks? I know everybody knows it is my 50 marks, yeah. And when it is skill level papers, yeah, you may have MCQs or you may have some OMR sheets. But when it is professional level paper, Baba, I will not expect anything like, right? If it's a professional paper, yeah, professional paper, then you have to write it for 80 marks technical and 20 for professional. This is what my ATX says. What it is? 80 marks you have to write it, answer. And 20 marks, how you write it, you get the marks for that. Yes. Over here, about my guidance, over here it is written that my UK tax rate examination, normally they have given up it is going to fall in which date. I am okay with it because I have to understand. Therefore, the examination which falls from this June 22 and 23, because we are at this position, isn't it? 21st June 23, and we are going to give till March 24, right? Till March 24. So for me, there is a Finance Act. Which Finance Act? 2022. We have to learn it. And guys, this is a time where I need to give you a disclosure. Which disclosure? I have told my students to please do the mock. Please do the mock. So what they'll do? They'll start doing the mocks. They'll start doing the mocks. And which mocks they'll do, you know? They'll do some mocks which is like pehle ke, very previous. Means over here, my Finance Act, if you can just learn it, if you can just make it, my Finance Act over here is 22. My Finance Act is 22. So please, 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 whenever you are doing any questions for your practice, please take care the Finance Act 22. Please take 22's Finance Act. Even if you have the answers of prior year, please check the rates and practice it this year. Cool? Okay. Yes. Okay, I hope it's clear. Yeah. Now, if you see about my, so I told you, okay, whenever we check up the examination, we have to give the UK variant only. Okay, you have to give the UK variant only. Approaches I have to give. So I told you, initial 80 marks are for what? Initial 80 marks are for writing the proper paper, and remaining 20 marks are for this. That is, communication should be proper, means I need to report something to some or the other person. Then analysis should be there, only with the numbers it's not fine. I got the numbers, I got the numericals, I got the answer. Clear, ma'am? Okay, 0. No, you will not get like full marks. You get the number, it's easy. Even in tax, people used to get numbers only, ma'am. But now it's important to even evaluate. Yes, Baba, we have to evaluate the stuff. We are supposed to evaluate. We are supposed to evaluate this. Okay. We'll evaluate it. Then we have to use our skepticism and commercial acumen for sure. Over here, I'll be having how much minutes? So yeah, it's a 3 hours and 50 minutes. And over here, when it was section A, 50 marks, they will be there. Out of which, I'm just writing it. For first question will be 50 marks. Out of which, I know 40 marks are to be written. And 10 marks for professional marking. So out of 10 also now, 10 for professional markings. But out of that, 35 marks, out of 40, 35 marks are for technical understanding. And 5 for your ethics. Means how good you are to represent that. And later on for section B I know, it's 25 marks compulsory, out of which 20 for technical and 5 for professional in both the questions. Yeah, this is what I have already explained you. So if I am learning, if I'm learning ATX, for example, okay, if I'm learning ATX. So if I told you, okay, ma'am, I have just learned ATX UK, whether it will be beneficial for me if I don't want to practice in UK. See, I can give you best thing. If I have done my chartered accountancy with the Indian taxation, so I didn't had any sort of plan for understanding or explaining or taking up the ATX like subject. But what made me laugh is, see, the rates can be different, but the concept sketch, this is allowed, this is deduction, oh, this is exemption. But that is very understandable. Means now you will be at a position to cope up any tax. So yes, students, this is what the biggest advantage is of taking the ATX as a paper, because over here, any like on the successful completion of this examination, I'll be able to apply further knowledge and understanding of the tax system. Yes, maybe I'll identify and impact the relevant taxes on the various situations, and maybe I'll be like advising like how can you just save your tax, or maybe you can defer your liabilities to my clients also. Yeah, it can be beneficial. Then I can have a professional ranges where I can just prepare the income tax return, ITR, or I can support things and all, and maybe it is going to help me out. So over here, guys, we need to learn about some total E points. So it's that only. Understanding the tax rate, then understanding the tax relevant, memorizing, and it's the same. It's the same. Now, students, what am I going to understand in this ATX? So knowledge about the UK tax system is what we are going to learn it today. Yes, students. So people now will often leave this topic. They will feel, Carry, what will come from this in the examination? But I am saying you, things which are important is not just important because of the weightage in the marks. Yeah, it's not just the weightage in the marks which is important, but it is important like if you get 45, if you get 49, then you will understand what is the meaning of one mark. So guys, please don't ignore these topics. So in that, I'll be learning first of all what you know, guys. Income tax and the tax liability. Means what is my income tax liability? Income tax liability I'll be earning. Yes, along with additional exemptions and relief. Then I'll be learning CGT. What's CGT? Chargeable capital gain taxes. If I'm having any sort of, let's say, I sold any property, or maybe I have sold any some valuable assets. So I am having any sort of capital gains. So what will be the tax on that capital gains? I have to learn that. If my dada pardada means my grandfather, my previous grandfather has given me any sort of inherent thing, so I'll be learning inherent tax also. Inherent tax also is a situation which I need to learn it. Yeah, about any sort of transfer of property, trust overseas, and etc. If I'm engaged into any sort of business, then I'll be also learning the corporate taxes. So yeah, just imagine how much things you are getting or knowledge to learn for, right? Then we'll be having some stamp duty and VAT. Stamp duty as T and value added tax. So I'll be learning. After coming that, I need to know the impact of relevant taxes also. Yes. How are the impact of taxes? How are they interrelated? Means tax apply to the course and alternative personal business outcomes. Again, texts which are important for taking the decisions, advantages, disadvantages, etc. Third is try to minimize and deferring the tax liabilities. Like there are two words. There is tax planning and tax evasion. I will ask my students, tell me now, what is better? Can I do tax planning or can I do tax evasion? Which is permissible and which is prohibited? So Baba, tax planning is something which the government has told. If you want to save tax, please invest in so and so funds. So because people I know, they whatever they earn, if they pay taxes, then the living standard and livelihood will not be very better, right? So they have given you certain exemptions. Okay, Baba, if you invest in so and so funds, that amount, that part of the income will not be taxable, right? But what if I'm doing it from the purpose of tax evasion? Means like purposefully I am trying to pay lesser tax, which is again not good. So that is not good, na? So types of investment we need to learn. Okay, where if I invest, it's a tax planning. So over here, type of investments and expenditure which I should go ahead with, which reduces my tax liability, but in the legal way. Okay. Then the tax plannings which I have to take it. Then the appropriateness of such investments. Where should I go ahead? Yeah. Then how can I minimize and mitigate my tax liabilities, and my ethical and professional level on giving the advice means over here I should not engage in evasion of tax. Like tax evasion I should not do, right? Yeah. Last but not the least, you get this 20 marks. For what? This professional communication, analysis, evaluation, skepticism and commercial acumen. So yes students, last over here about the technologies and all, how I'm going to learn it. Fine. So yes students, with these I have completed the important. Okay, now there is further something which we can do it on our own also. No, I'm not saving it. So over here students, we have learned even about what are the things which we need to go ahead with. Up next, if I show you, there's one more concept which is the most important thing. Like if I complete this, yeah, I'll go to chapters again in the left hand side. If I go here, guys, I told you that something is there in your examination. This is examinable documents. If I click on this examinable documents, Baba, I get something which is beneficial. So you'll say, ma'am, what are you going to get it? Let's say I'll show you something which I'm going to have it. Just a minute. Okay. Study guide. Yeah, I think it's not yet opened. Okay, just give me a minute now. Yeah, maybe I'll show you the tax rates, not from here. It will be very small in case. Over here, now wherever there is examinable documents, so over here, if you can see, I know it's very small, so maybe you will not be fitting up. Okay, what are the things which we need to learn it, etc., in what parts and all. Then over here, they'll be giving some tax rates. So over here, I'm just going ahead with the tax rates, which I can just show you up over here. I think it's clearly visible. Yeah, okay. So maybe over here, students, in the question, things will be given and which we don't need to memorize it. So what are the things which are given in the examination which I don't want to memorize it? Other tax rates. Okay, these are the tax rates and allowances which I don't have to, which will be given in your examination, given in examinations. Yeah, okay. So the following are the tax rates. For example, if there is an individual who is having an income of what? The basic tax, the basic rate. Let's say for example, if I am a person, my income lies between somewhere around £1 to 37,700. In between that, let's say 32,500. So I have to pay the normal tax at the rate of 20%. If my income is more than 3701, so I'll be considered as a high taxpayer rate. So I have to pay a tax nearly to 40%. Up till what amount? Up till 1,50,000. So 1 to 37,700, it's 20%. So 37,700 to 150, it's 40%. If the additional tax rate over and above 150, we have to pay 45% of tax rates. So is it not simple? Yeah. Over here, I just got to know how much tax rates I'm supposed to pay. Beyond that, if you see, guys, if an individual is having, let's say, some saving income, yeah, which is at the rate of nil, means the saving income on which the tax should not be paid is how much? If any individual having saving income of only pound 1,000, so okay, they don't have to pay tax. But that is applicable only to basic rate taxpayer. Basic rate taxpayer means this rate taxpayer, basic rate taxpayer. Okay, but when it is higher taxpayer, only 500 pounds are exempted. Later on, they have to pay the taxes, whatever other normal tax rates. Okay. Then if you see the dividend, over here, if this is the dividend, means if the dividend is 0 rated, means when will I pay no dividend? When if an individual is having pound 2,000 as a dividend, then please don't pay any taxes. But if it is more than that, these are the slab rates on which you have to pay the taxes on dividends. Okay, cool. Over here, a starting rate of 0% will be there for saving income. If it's total income, if its total income is pound 5,000, so please don't pay any tax. First 5,000, please don't pay any tax. Okay, cool. Then we have a concept of, guys, personal allowances. So students, I'm not going so much into detail of this all personal allowances and all, because each and every concept in detail along with the questions, we have taken it in the first YT revision. Please check that. In the first YT revision for September 2023. So if you want to learn about that, please go to check that videos. Yeah, it will be very, very beneficial for you guys. So I really want you all to please check it once. Okay, so that is personal allowances, which says about normally an individual will get a personal allowance of how much? If an individual is having an income of something around limit of 1 lakh pounds, he'll be getting an allowances of 12,570. Catch up about that much tax on the amount you don't pay, and the remaining amount and the remaining income, on that only you pay taxes. Okay, but what if my income increases more than 1 lakh? If your income increases more than 1 lakh to maximum 125, you can get some allowances. But if it is more than 125, it will be 0%. Because something you remember, 25, 140 difference, 50% allowances. Yes, if you don't remember, please. I'm so sorry. If you don't remember, please do check out that video. I'm requesting you all because it's highly important. Please do check. Okay, then we have some transferable amount of 1260, which is something about a married couple having, like, yeah, they can transfer. There are something which is personal allowances. If they want to transfer, they can transfer. Then we have learned something about the residential status. Like if an individual is staying for so and so days in UK, if in the previous year he was not a resident, he requires this much ties to complete. Yeah, 432 automatically. No, 4321, and yeah, automatically. So that way you remember the ties. Yes. So what's that 4321? Just let me open it. Okay, 4321 is this 4 ties, 3 ties, 2, and no here. 4 3 2 1 and automatically. Yeah, here no, here 2 times no. This date 16 45 90 120 and 182 and so on. This is how I make my students remember the dates. But obviously you don't have to remember it because everything will be given in your paper. Yes. Then we have some basic remittance. Means if an individual has stayed in UK for so and so many years, so there will be some basic remittance he'll be getting it. For example, in UK 7 out of 9 years, if he has worked for 7 years, so he'll get 30k. If it's double, like 14 years, instead of 14 years over here, like for 14 years, If he has worked for like 12 years, definitely he'll get 60K. Then the institute's favorite question comes from the car benefit percentage. So like what is the amount of the benefits that they have to give, yeah? About the fuel, about the mileage, about some pence, yeah, and about some grams. So that percentage. Same way over here also, that is important, that is important. So they have shown, please find out the relevant, yeah, just give me a minute, yeah, please find out the relevant base of CO2 emission. Like if it is 55 grams per kg, sorry, 55 grams per kilometers, so they have certain standards. If you remember, if it was a petrol and diesel car, so 15 and 16 percentage, yeah. And see, please check guys, these rates have changed from what it was like the previous year. This was not the rates were changed. If the percentage car is electric car, so 2%. If it's CO2 commission hybrid car, then 2, 5, 8, 12, 14%, and so on. Then we get a fuel like correct benefit of 25,300 as a base figures. For van it is 3,600 and fuel is 668. Then individual saving account in the investment scheme is 20,000 pounds, 7,500 for room rent relief. For pension it is like minimum 4,000 to 40,000 is the max limit, and so on. Then even this question comes in a lot of like adjustments for approved mileage. Up to 10,000 miles it's 45 pence, more than 25 pence. Yes, some capital allowances over here. Like why am I going fast? Because this is all, I don't have to read it, so I don't have to learn it. For something about depreciation they have asked us 18%, 6%, then and all. So over here students, something about cash basis, capital basis, corporation tax will be 19% only, but there is one threshold limit, you remember, 15 lakhs, yeah. VAT is normally at the rate of 20%. This is a minimum amount for registration, this is a minimum amount for your deregistration. Yes. If some other person is getting something in inheritance, so what taxes we have to pay? If it's nil band, so 3250. If it's a resident with nil band, 175 and some percentages. Then inheritance payer, if he dies within how many years, more than or 3 years, less than that way, so some percentage is given. So we have capital gain taxes also. Yes. Oh my god, like, so much thing. But over here guys, this is important, okay? Class 1 is for employees, class 2 is for employers. Over here if someone is doing the business, for them it's given over here. Yeah, my class 4 NICs. So yeah. Then rate of interest. For example, my liability was, let's say, 2 lakhs. But if I made them the payment of 1.4 lakhs only, so 0.60 you have paid late. If you have paid late, unpaid taxes 3.25%. If you have paid more, government will give me an interest of only 0.50%. That's all, like the advanced taxes. Yes. Up next, if you see, there are some standard penalties also, like whatever the percentage are. Easy for stamp duty also and stamp duty shares also. So over here we have read about the percentages which I'm telling you students is going to come in your examination, but you guys are very lucky that it is already pre-printed in your papers. It's already pre-printed in your papers. Yeah. Now let me show you about the ACCA study resources which is there with us. Wait, my ACCA study resources is not getting opened. My qualifications, okay, yeah. In my qualifications guys, when I go over towards my ACCA study hub, over here down to that the chapters, I'll be having a lot of chapters which we have to go through it, okay, which we have to learn it. And I'm telling you students, okay, whatever questions you try to do it, but please don't ignore this the questions from ACCA resources, right? Because the institute has came up all this stuff just for us, and if we are only ignoring them, then it is of no point of use, right? It's then no use. So yeah, it will hardly take some 2 minutes. Okay, if it's ATX, okay, we'll just go to examination. Again under that, right now I don't want any sort of reminders for me. Okay, I'll be having some income tax authorities, chapters, etc. Let's say I have taken it up something for like tax plannings, okay. Let's say I've checked up 14th chapter, I'll go ahead and I'll just read whatever is given in the question, whatever is there in the books. So I'll just go ahead, I'll just read myself, okay, things. Maybe if there is any question, I'll try to solve it over here. Let's say if you see the disposals activity is given, like a big question is framed. Is there any answer? So yeah, I'll like to do show and I'll get the answer, like what they have expected us to write for. Okay, yes, and so on. Yeah, easy. So yeah, let's there, it's very easy. After completing that, now guys, we'll be having summary and quizzes, which is very important. So if it's summary and quizzes, what I have to do, guys, over here, I have to check it out whether am I good to do the quizzes or not. Let's see, I have ticked up on the quizzes. So let me do the quizzes. Okay, if I did start it. So they have asked us, the company is having a profit of this much. He is considering making a pension scheme of 40. So what is the amount of tax that will be saved by the person? Let's say the tax save is 24,000. Just time pass, I'm doing it. Confirm. See, I'm clicking like every C only the answer. Yeah, everything C, B. Okay. So I got to know that the first answer is wrong, second is correct. So why first is wrong? I have to know now. So I'll just review it. Okay, I'll just review it. So they have told, okay, ma'am, your answer is A, but you have selected C. So how it is? So they have made the questions also. So let's say, but still I don't understand the concept. I want to know which concept they are hitting upon. So in the right hand side, I have an option which is known as learn more about this topic. So if I learn more about this topic now, I'll get each and every stuff to be done. Easy? Yes? I hope you guys understand this. Now again, if I go to chapters, definitely there are certain questions which we have to do it. Let's say first chapter only. Okay, over here, if you see, there are certain questions at the end. Over here, syllabus and quiz. Can you see this practice? Yes. If I do practice over here, let's say I'm purchasing, like I'm doing Jessica's company. Let's say Jessica's. In the real exam, how it comes, like you'll be having a storyline. In the left hand side, all the exhibits will be there. Same way. Over here, when it's Jessica's thing is given, certain issues are given, exhibit 1. Then some requirements are given. For example, this is my first requirement. So first requirement, what I'll do, I'll copy it and I'll start just planning my answers. Okay? Like this is supposed my question. I just made my question and I have stored about writing the solution. Okay, this is my solution. Whatever it is. That way I can get the marks. Yes. But let's say I confirmed it because I don't know the answer. Promptly it will answer it turant. Okay, just down to that. They will want, this is what you have written the answer and this is what the answer needs to be. So everything they are going to write it. Okay. So just imagine how much practice I am having it, isn't it? To go beyond the examination stuff. So yes, students, we have to work on that also. So this is what I have shown you about the ACCA practice platform. Okay, for we'll be taking up a short break and we'll be resuming it back with the concept of CBE practice platforms. Okay, thank you. So okay students, so now we are going to understand over here about the questions. Okay, fine. So with these we have already learned about the ACCA study resources, like how do we understand about the study resources, how to practice the questions and all. So now without having any further delay, we'll just understand about the CBE practice platform also. Okay, I'll just show you the practice platform. So over here, when I just click on my qualifications and down towards that my qualifications, over here I'll be having a practice platform which is known as CBE practice platform, in which actually when I write the paper, how my paper exactly look like and how to write on the computer based examination, it's just a super practice that we have to do it. Okay, so in the right hand side, do you find anywhere ATX? Yes. So down to that ATX, students, I'll be having a many variant. That is, if you see over here guys, I'm having blank space. Then we have to find out which. Students, you have to click on UK. So we are supposed to plan for UK examinations. We are going to practice it for UK also. Okay. So so then we have to click on the official resources. I need to go towards the practice examination. And students, the most important thing I want to announce you is that whenever you are practicing any paper, please don't practice the old papers. And if you're practicing the old papers, if I want to practice the old paper, let me practice the old paper. But please get an updated version of your tax rates. Open the important tax rates, current tax rates, and only then go and practice the questions. Okay. So what I can do, I can assign a paper. Like say I have assigned the paper of ATX practice paper FA 2022 over here. Then what I can do, in the right hand side in the assigned materials over here, if you can see the assigned materials, you need to find out which of the paper you have assigned to yourself. Okay. Am I getting somewhere ATX? Yeah. So what I can do, maybe let's say this is a paper which I have assigned to myself. Okay. Over here, June 2022. Let's see if I'll just start it for now. Okay. So I'll get exactly what they have told us about the functional detail, like how we are going to write the papers. What is your procedure, like 50 marks first paper, 50 marks second paper. Okay. Second paper means section A and section B. Okay, I have to scroll down everything. Okay, just the scenario it's given. Okay, as and when the time permits, because I don't think like it is your first paper that you are going to give in the CBE platform, so I'm not taking up so much of time. So students, the time allowed is not there because this is your practice platform, right? If it was your exam platform, you would be awarded with the time of 3 hours and some 15 minutes, so on. Then I have some section A. Okay, this is some old paper. Okay, let me take a new paper only for us. So let me take a new paper. Let me take a new assigned paper for us, because it was old paper and the old paper I don't want to take it. So otherwise it will be double the revision which I have to do it. So let me take the recent paper. Okay, let me just take the recent paper which I have assigned to myself. Where is my ATX? So I'll go very slowly, huh? It's a tax specimen, it's the ATX paper. Let's say ATX paper, which is a recent one. Maybe I can take it up this. Yeah, 23, 24. I'll just click on okay. Because now when it is a new paper, you know that I have talked about you that 10 marks are for your professional marks for the question number 1. And in section B, there are 2 questions, 5 marks will be there. Similarly, over here also, we get the same. In the practice platform also, you have to see the same exact situation. How you're going to go ahead with your examination perspective. So if I just click on this, now see, time allotted is not there, but you see section A over here, it's 50 marks, 1 question only 1 question. So prior to many time it was like 2 questions. Okay, 2 questions, and the professional markings was also not so much, but now it is only 1 question, and in section B there are 2 questions which are compulsory. So let's go ahead with the question number 1, that is, which is important and everything is given. So yes, this is how your paper look like. So what we have to do, guys, we have to first read all the stuff which is given if you want. Otherwise, what I do and what I tell my students to do is, before you read the storyline, yeah, in which if you see, acha, this is a story, down to that they have written, okay, these are certain exhibits, the following exhibits. That is, first exhibit is this, which is over here, exhibit, exhibit, exhibit. So what I do, I normally read the requirements first. I go ahead with the requirements. So what I'll see, always your first question will be something to draft a report for. Means I have to draft a report, and that is where I get the communication marks. So see, respond, you should assume today's date is given some or the other way. Respond to your instructions in the email from your manager. Okay, so some email, so I have to respond them accordingly. Worth 40 marks. Split marks is shown in exhibit 3, so maybe exhibit 3 we have to see. And your professional markings will be allocated on all this stuff, which is nothing other than 10 marks. Okay, so maybe I'll cancel it. Okay, then for example, if I'm seeing, let's say, first exhibit. Now what do? We just read this storyline, go ahead with the first exhibit. So we'll read it over here. The following exhibit shows about the first exhibit about the company's memorandum of member, manager, schedule for Hiromi, and some email. Okay, I'll just read the first scenario, what they have given. Okay, a lot of stuff is given. Okay, maybe that is helpful for me, I'll find it out. Maybe second scenario exhibit, I'll just read it, whatever is presented in the question. Okay, we'll read this, maybe it will be helpful for us in some or the other way. And last but not the least, third also we'll read it, and yeah, we can work on it. Okay, so third exhibit, they have told something about the manager, they have told. And if you remember, in the third they have told it is split into marks. So what are the things which I have to write in to my manager? Over here, refund about income tax I have to write. For that refund of income tax, I have to read exhibit 1, which worth 5 marks. Okay, so something about refund I will like draft the report for. Second, about the capital gains, like chargeable gains, for that I'll be using exhibit 1 and 2 to reply, that was worth for 11 marks, that's CGT, capital gains. Okay, then trading losses. Okay, so there are losses, so maybe I can carry forward some of the other way. For that 1 and 2 exhibit again I have to use, which works 7 marks. Then using the losses, if I'm having any losses, I know we can carry forward, we can assume something. For that, if I'm having any 10 marks for refund claim and all. Then over here, just by reading exhibit 2, I have to explain some calculations for tax implications worth 7 marks. So this is how your 40 marks, are being allocated. Okay, this is how my 40 marks have been allocated. Now students, over here, I have to read the requirements, and like I'll start writing the answers. Let's say my word processor, let's say I'm writing the first answer. So what I will do it over here, let's say this is my first question. Okay, requirements. I'll copy the first question, I'll just write it over here. For example, I'll just copy and start formulating my answer. Okay, I'll just start formulating my solution. Okay, I'll write solution and I'll go ahead. For example, I was writing the tax rates. I don't know what the tax rates are. Oh shit, I forgot. Let's say the income is pound. Let's say the pound. I'm having, let's say, 37,200. 500, let's say. I don't know what will be the tax. So let's say the tax rates I want to see. I can go in the left hand side, help table. If you just go and help in the table, you will get the name. If you want to have some workplace, you can read it, but I want tax rates. I want tax tables. Guys, if you just click on text table, you will get exactly what was there. I told you, na guys, it will be useful. So if I'm having this, maybe I'll copy this. Yeah. Okay, I'll just move it over here. It will be useful for me. I can go ahead and I can base, like I can just read it and I can like write it. It will be useful. So I can just use both the tables at a side. Okay. Can I use it? Yes. Yes. I hope it's clear. Yeah, it's not like allowing me to like drag it, but at times it's allowing us to be making it very small. It is making us to be very big, but I'm not allowing over here. So maybe, yeah. Can you just read this? Is it not helpful? Yeah, but you know what I told you in the prior also. If I just go on seeing for every tax rates now, it will be very time consuming. So students, you need to have a practice. Okay, I've just saved it. Then question number 2, again for 2 questions, 25 each, where your exhibits will be lesser. Over here, your requirements will also be lesser. Yeah. And over here, if you see, you will be allotted 5 marks per skeptical writing. So all these 3 questions I have to write it by just looking at the one exhibit. Third question, again the same, like second only. Your word processor will be there, you have to write it. And this is what your requirements are. So you don't have to report anything. It's just like 5 marks per professional, and individual questions will be given. So if you would have read now, only for the first question you get communication marks. And if you remember, I have just written anything in question number 1, but I didn't wrote anything, so it's not attempted. But still, if I want to end the exam, I'll just end it exam. I ended it. Yes. Then what I can do, I can just see whatever I have written it is correct or not. So I can exit it maybe, and I can go on the mark. If I did the mark, if I just went in the mark, yeah, I'll see what is my situation. Okay, let's see. I have written like this paper, so I'll just self mark where I can get the answers. How my institute want me to answer it, so that it is good for me to practice. I can get a lot of help, right? If you can see it over here, yeah. If you see, I have just written this X amount, which was very wrong. So what do they want me to answer it? It's opening like that way. So if you see, this is the answer that they have printed us. Okay, can you see this? I'll just put it down. Okay, can you please see it? Yes. Yeah, can you please see this answer over here? My answer starts, the first answer they want is this, and always my first answer needs to be what? It needs to be something like I have to report it. So even this reporting gets marks. Hiromi, my date today. You know, first question was about asking a refund of income tax, which was 5 marks. So okay, I wrote something about refund. Something about chargeable gains, I have calculated it. Yeah, CGT. The third question they have asked something about the payables, trading losses, if you remember. So yeah, this was my trading losses I want to carry forward and all. So yeah, so students, this is how I want you guys to answer. And before that, I'm just closing everything. I want you guys to practice, a lot of questions. Okay, so with this background, we have just initially completed with what are the things which we need to go ahead with, and how my things are appearing in your examination and so on. So yeah, students, now without any further delay, I would just like to start our today's agenda, which I thought of I can like complete it a lot of thought like a process fast, but yeah, eventually it took some time. But nevertheless, we are going with a good pace. So need not worry, we'll just start it over here with the first topic, which is one of my favorite topic, which is something which the people, yeah, the income tax administration, which a lot of people leave the concepts, which I don't want you guys to leave. Like I always figure it out, like if you want to start anything with a fresh start, you always need to know the first point, that is what is the base behind everything. Okay, so today we are going to understand about income tax administration, that is ATX. So okay, without having any further delay, let us just start with the first topic, which is ATX. So if you read the word, I can cut it into two pieces, that is income tax and administration. So it's income tax means it's the tax which has been governed. So the admin, who is going to govern it, who is going to admin it, who is going to have an eye on this income tax. Okay, so that is the first concept which we need to learn it. So if I again explain you about the income tax, we know that an individual who is earning some income, let's say he is earning some income. If he is earning some income, he has to pay the income tax. He has to pay the tax. He has to pay the tax on whatever income he is having it. On what rate will he pay? So right now we understood that. For example, he'll be having some bands, like for example some slab rates. If his income is pound 1 to pound 37,700, he has to pay some 20%. Let's say his income is 37,700 and 1 till 150. Definitely he'll be paying 40% tax. Okay. If I ask you one question, please try to tell me, what if I'm asking you a question? Let's say Mr. X income is, let's say, total of pound 50k. Oh my god, what is his tax liability? I will be the very unhappy person if you just told me, okay ma'am, please multiply 50,000 with 40%. I'll just, guys, I'll beat you. I don't know, virtual beat it will come. Yeah, you know, 50,000, so I have to know, okay, I have to bifurcate this 50k first into pound 37,700 is my slab, and something more than pound 37,700 restricted to 50k will be given. So initially first 37,700 I need to multiply with 20%, and the difference is to be multiplied with 40%. Yes, this is the meaning of slabs. Means 37,700, this much is the tax. Beyond that, max till 50k, max till 1,50,000, you have to pay this much tax. So 50,000 minus 37,700, which gives me a total of 12,300. Difference into 40%. It gives me a tax of 4,920 here. Over here it is 4920, and over here my tax rate turns around to be 20%. It's 7540. So when I take up a total, my total tax liability turns around to be pound 12460. So this is what an individual counted his tax. Yeah, I individually calculated. So if I calculated the tax along with some chartered accountant, so that is known as self assessment tax. Like I calculated on my own. That is 12460. Do you think will the income tax authority also calculate the same tax? I calculated a tax of, let's say, pound 12460. Maybe I went to income tax authority. I filed my IT return. My income tax authority, who is my administration? HMRC, like Home Registry. Yeah, you remember? Revenues and Custom Department. Checked. So they got to know, okay, whatever income tax this individual has calculated is not appropriate. He has calculated some extra tax which he was not supposed to calculate. Let's say they analyzed, and as per the authority, my tax liability was $15,000. Oh my god. Don't you think I have paid something less? So this much is now what? The liability to be paid, and they will not say, Arey, aaram se de do, it's okay, you made mistake. No. They will charge penalty. Maybe they can charge interest on the excess amount. Yeah, that is nothing other than 15,000 minus 12,460. Which comes to be, you have to extra pay this much amount. Along with that, you have to pay the tax liability. Along with that, you have to pay maybe interest, maybe penalty, maybe etc. stuff. So guys, this is what I'm trying to explain you about the normal stuff. Okay, and this is what I'm expecting you guys to know. Okay, because it's not normal tax, it's ATX, and the revision again. So income tax administration. So over here, first of all, we need to know what is the income tax authority. Like in India, it is the income tax authority, but in UK, it's an HMRC, right? So what is the objective of HMRC? Okay, why have they developed? So over here, my first objective is to explain the examinable aspects of UK's tax administration and sources of laws. The system of self-assessment. Self-assessment means I will make an individual will calculate his own total income, and based on that he'll pay some percentage of taxes. Means I will pay on my own. That is known as self-assessment of tax. The means by which the HMRC enforces the compliances with the tax regulations, and if HMRC feels that your taxes are less, they can impose you penalties also. Along with that, if HMRC feels that you were liable to pay tax but you are not paying, maybe if they are very angry, they can start some legal actions towards you. They can have a conduct compliances checks also. Yeah, they can have some compliances checks also, and some procedures for making the appeal. They can go towards the court and make the appeal also for you, in front of you. So yes, students, this is what the objectives of HMRC are. So you can never take the HMRC very lightly. Arey, what will HMRC do? No. They have the ultimate power to have a control over your company, your situations. Okay. Second, now this is my tax authority. So is HMRC. So basically HMRC has what things to be done. So HMRC is not just going to sit idly and collect the taxes or pay. That's no. He has the responsibility to make the tax rates, to amend the tax rates, yeah, to check whatever tax rates you all are paid is fine or not, maybe to even verify all the income tax returns, to give the guidance, etc. If you have paid lesser tax, they can demand extra tax from you. If you have paid more tax, they'll refund back the taxes. So over here, the responsibility for assessment means to check and to collect the taxes lies in the UK. In UK, it's with HMRC. So they are not free. So they do have their own responsibilities. Like first, they'll issue all the income tax returns. They'll check whether I have filed the returns and I have made the compliances also. Like an individual has complied with all the requirements as per the laws and regulations. Whatever taxes I have paid, is it correct? Is it accurate also? There is also something which they have to have an eye on. Then they also have to manage and collection of the data and the taxes. So they are going to collect the taxes also. Yeah, simple. Okay. Along with that, let's say according to me, my tax liability was 150, but according to them, my tax liability was 170. So extra I will pay. Along with that, I have to pay the late payment fees, maybe other penalties, maybe interest also. Yes, maybe because of some fraudulent manner or maybe tax evasion, and it can be any such things. Cool. Okay. For example, students in my India, okay, in India where I do reside, and yeah, I'm a chartered accountant in India, so obviously this is going to be there for me. Okay, in India, we have an accounting period, which is my taxable year, guys. Please keep this thing in mind. Our accounting year starts from 1st April 2022 till 31st March 2022. Sorry, 2023, okay. But in UK, my year starts not on 1st April, guys. It's on 6th April 22. It's on 6th April 2022. It ends till 5th April 23. So what it is, guys? 6 to 5. Okay, so that is known as the taxable period. Means those individual who has earned the income, okay, those individual who has earned the income in this period. In which period, guys? From this period. That is basically from 6th April 22 till 5th April 23. If I have earned any income in this year, I have to pay the taxes in the current year. So over here, the tax rates, the tax year runs from 6th April to 5th April. The principal year for my examination in the examination of for 22-23 is going to be this. So on which incomes will the individual pay taxes? Individual means an individual, a person, association of person, body of individual. So what are the income an individual can earn? Maybe individual can earn salary. Yes, they can earn whatever income they have, like they can run it around. Yeah, then what can they have? Another income? Do they have any other income? So yeah, maybe an individual's income, considering they'll be having some income tax. Yeah, so an individual has to pay income tax. If an individual has sold some assets, so they have to pay capital gain taxes also. And if an individual has always contributed something in NIC, so NIC also they have to pay NIC contribution as per employer, employee, etc. The one who is doing jobs. So yeah, this is applicable for individuals, sole traders and partners. So all these things needs to be added. Yes, perfect. Yeah, I think like it's very pretty easy, and we are going good with that. Okay. So now we have a concept of collection of income tax. Let's say in India, guys, in India, try to understand it. In India, we have a concept which is known as TDS. What's a TDS? It's a tax deducted at source. Means, for example, in India, like the same way, the concept is same as PAYE also. That is pay as you earn. For example, some person who is paying me some money, for example, let's say I am doing some job somewhere, okay, and if my income is exceeding some amount, so what happened? Let's say my employer, I was supposed to get income, okay, I was supposed to get income. If I get income, let's say I was supposed to get an income of how much? Let's say I was supposed to get an income of pound 10 lakhs. Okay. But what happened? My employer, what he thought, okay, if he give me income, I will file the income tax return, and when the things will process, it's better. My employer has deducted some amount, in the name of PAYE. That is pay as you earn system. Okay, pay as you earn. That is similar to the, like my Indian students knows, that it is also known as pay as you earn. Means what, guys? It's a TDS, PAYE. That means what, students? Like I'm getting money, yeah, but I'm not getting full 10 lakhs. No, for sure. They are deducting some amount. Deducting some amount means, let's say 10% they have already deducted it. So maybe 1 lakh, they have already deducted it and they have contributed it to government. Means they have already given it to government. So my in hand I'll get how much? In hand I'll get only 9 lakhs. Oh my god, seriously? Yes. So I'll get the amount after being deducted. So that is known as, just read it. The self-assessment system is a system for collecting tax that is not deducted as per PAYE. The PAYE system collects tax and they contributed it. So means what? Na? The self-assessment system is a system for collecting tax that is not deductible. Means, for example, if I'm continuing the question, yeah, I'm just continuing the question. Yeah, just try to analyze it. Okay, just try to analyze it. I don't know how small I have written it that you will be able to see it or not, but just try to analyze it. Okay, if already my 1 lakh has been deducted and contributed to a government, what happened? I understood. Let's say when I just was filing the return, I was filing the return, ITR return. I wrote, okay, Baba, my salary is, let's say, 10 lakhs. Okay, my tax liability turned around to be, let's say, pound 1 lakh 20. So I got to know, okay, already my TDS, my pay has been deducted. I have already contributed to government at the rate of 1 lakh. So don't you think now only pound 20,000 is my liability now? Yes. So that is shown. Okay, that is shown. I hope you understood it. Yes. I hope you understood it. So yeah, please, when you read it now you will understand it more. So they have written the self-assessment tax is a system. Yeah, I'll calculate it on my own. The self-assessment system is a system for collecting taxes that is not deducted. Okay, I have not deducted that much I will pay. So what things I will pay? First of all, I'll pay for the collection of taxes and ICs. So individual has to pay for the income tax. Yes, income tax I'll pay for class 4 NIC. I'll pay for capital gains also. CGT taxes also I'll pay. Agreed? Yes. If I'm paying for that, guys, I have to pay, that is for sure. I'll pay. But how will I pay? I have to file some returns. So how will I file the returns? So the personal tax returns are being filed as per form SA 100, which is to be issued to all the taxpayers who have to pay taxes if he is a higher taxpayer or additional taxpayer. If he is a self-employed, means he is not doing job anywhere. He has his own trade or like business, whatever it is. Or a person with multiple source of income. Yeah. Or the person potentially subject to high child benefits. So if any individual is earning any sort of things, he has to pay the returns. He has to file the returns for sure. Then if you read it, an individual's income from all the sources should be how? Yeah, this is also important. An individual income from all the sources should be included in their tax returns. So whenever I'm filing up the tax returns, okay, this is my, let's say, income tax returns. So I'll write here employment income. Yes, I'll write here my let's say interest income. Maybe I'll write it over here some amount of self-employment income. So I have to make a total and then I have to pay the taxes. It's not like individual thing I will book individual. No. So for all these things I have to like book it. Okay, so what they have written it over here, guys. An individual income from all the sources should be included in their tax returns. For example, income from employment, self-employment, movable. Employment means like salary. Self-employment means like, guys, I'm having my own business. Immovable property means like something which is not movable. Means, let's say I have purchased a land, or maybe I have purchased a house property. I have given it on rentals I loan from trust, foreign sources, etc. Individuals are also responsible for calculating their own income tax liability when filing. Yeah. So prior to many years, we used to send it on paper. We used to like file the return on paper. We used to send it through post. But now, probably, everything is made online. So we just have to file our income tax returns online and just post it. Okay. And today, I'm telling you allegedly, like it's very, very possible and very easy to book everything online. Okay. Everything. And I made the payments also online. Yeah. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it just went off. Yeah, okay. So by what time should I file the return? This is also important. Okay. Notification of chargeability. So they have wrote, in order that the return can be issued by HMRC, a new sources of income or gains must be notified within 6 months. So there should be a notification within 6 months. Okay, Baba, you have filed the return or not? So when will you get the notifications of chargeability? See, let's say this is my year. It starts from 6th April 2022 till 5th April 2023. Within a period of 6 months, it will be notified. 6 months means like April. So 5th May, 5th June, 5th July, 5th August, 5th September, 5th October. So yeah, till 5th October 2023 they need to notify it. Means over here, in order that the returns can be issued by HMRC, over here it has been notified within a period of 6 months. So it will be 5th October 2023. Okay. If there is no return as such, the notification, then there will be penalty for any sort of failures. Okay, that's fine. I have that, but till what date should I file my return? Yeah. Normally you have to file your returns within a period of like good amount. Maximum they can give you like some 31st Jan. But if you see, normally the deadline of filing return for this year, maybe 6th April 22 till 5th April 23. You have to file your paper return within like 6 months, but 6th month end, so October end you have to file. But if it is electronically, you get some Jan end. So if it's later, whichever is later, if it's paper, 31st October, if it's 31st Jan electronically, and 3 months from the date of notice. So notice when it is, for example, some notification, so within 3 months. So whichever is later, by then individual is supposed to file the return. So when you go ahead, there is a situation that, guys, if I want to go ahead, it is understood that at times, many a times what happen, okay, if I file the return, but instead of some figures, there are misstatements. So can I correct my financial statements? For example, I wanted to pay a tax. Let's say I wanted to pay tax to pay, let's say, $10 lakhs. I wanted to pay, but instead of that, there was an error, and by error, I paid how much? I paid $5 lakhs. So remaining amount, what has to do? So taxpayer can amend. I can change my return within a period of 12 months. But how? For example, my year ends on which date? Yeah, 6th April 22, 5th April 23. So within a period of 12 months. Ma'am, I want to file online. So can you tell me by what date can I file my income tax returns? Yes. I'm getting it correct. So if you file online, you remember the date. Yeah, I'm supposed to file till the Jan. So 31st Jan 2024. I should normally file my returns. So if I normally file my returns, and still if there is a gadbad, if there is a change, if there is some error, so you get an extended period of 1 year. So till 31st Jan 2025 you are supposed to file. So how much you get it? So they have written a taxpayer can amend. Can amend the income tax returns to correct the errors at any time within 12 months following the prescribing filing date, that is on or before this date. Okay? Yes. Even if they have filed, maybe if HMRC is not happy, they can also tell you, okay, no, you have made wrong, please file the corrected details. Even that is possible. Okay, the possibility is huge. Even that is possible. Now if I file the returns, what I'll do? Ma'am, today I file the return, I'll tear the page, I'll throw it out. No, please maintain the records. For how many years should I maintain the records? Should I maintain the records for 1 year, 2 year, 10 years? How much? If I file the return, let's say, what is my filing date, normal filing date? So your 6th April, 5th April 23. So till minimum 31st Jan 24 I would have kept it. See, if you are having an income, if you are a taxpayer, yeah, who is having an income from trading and property letting. Trading means maybe I'm into the business something, or maybe I'm sending something property letting. Then I have to, please remember, then you have to retain your books of accounts for 5 years. So 5 years you have to keep your records. My God, 5 years from here. 5 years from filing the return, that is 24 over, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So till 31st Jan 29 you have to keep. Oh my God, seriously? Yes. So not just relating to business, I have to keep it for 5 years, that is till 31st Jan 29. Okay. Otherwise, just 1 year. That is from this date, 1 year. So maybe 1 year until 31st Jan 2025. So till 25 I can keep it. Otherwise 1 year, or else if it's trading or property letting, for 5 long years. Yes. I hope you guys are getting it. Yes. Easy. Pakka? Yeah. If a tax return is due, means you were supposed to pay the tax, but you did not file any return, then you were liable to pay, but you didn't pay. The HMRC is not sitting for free. They will order you to pay. So HMRC has the power to issue a estimate. Okay, Baba, pay this much. So by what time you should pay the tax? So you have to file the return till 31st of Jan, but you have to make the payments of tax till what? So yeah guys, payment of taxes, payment of self-assessment tax are due by 31st Jan of the following end of the year. For example, this is my year, yeah, remember 5th April 23. So yeah, till 31st Jan 24 I will pay. I have to pay before that, okay, being that year. And what liabilities I have to pay, means what all taxes I will pay: normal tax, income tax, class 2, class 4 and capital gains I'll pay. Yeah. But students, sometimes now, you remember, or like some of the people who have a huge amount of responsibility to pay taxes, they pay the taxes in some installment. Yeah. Can I pay something in installment? Yes, we can pay. We can pay in 3 equal installment. But anyhow, your payment should be completed till this date. Your payment should be completed till this date. So ma'am, when should I make the payment? Yeah, that is a question. Let's say this is a period from 6th April 22 till 5th April 23. So you are liable to pay the taxes till 31st, okay, 31st Jan 2024. You have to pay the final settlement over here only. So however, some taxpayers are required to make the payments of income tax and class 4 NICs. When the payments are required, the tax pays are to be made in 3 installment. So if you remember, the first installment is paid when, you will be astonished to know that it will be before the year ends. Means you have to pay the advance tax on 31st Jan 2023. Then within a period of 6 months, that is on 31st July 2023. Then again 6 months, that is 31st Jan. So if you read it over here, my first payment is to be made on 31st Jan 2023, then on 31st July 2023, and the balancing payment on 31st Jan 2024. So students, I'm trying to make things very, very easy, which people tend to leave and get 48 and they'll blame game the luck, which I don't want, okay? Because income tax, if I wanted, I can make it easily. I can make it available with the child benefit and etc. But students, if it is already there in your YouTube, which I have made it, then why will I why it's better not to give you different content. If you want to know that, you can just check on the video, that's all. Like, it's been a long time where I'm saying you, but like, if you want, you can just check on the video also. Okay, cool. Now guys, please remember it. You have to pay attention in 2 parts. That is income tax and class 4 NICs. That is what? Income tax and class 4 NICs. But if it is for CGT, if an individual is having taxes, if an individual is having a tax liability of capital gain tax and class 2 NICs, yeah, so one only installment, that is on the last date. But when they have to pay the taxes based on the income tax and class 4, we have 3 installment, which is like the year before 31st January, 31st July and the year end 31st Jan. That's all. Yeah, we have a question for that, and Baba, with this question now, we'll understand it more better. Yeah, I'll just try to read it. Okay, please. Yeah, this is from your ACCA study material, study resources, so it becomes important. Okay, just try to read it. Very, very simple. Okay, examples of the event. Payment of tax. First, 31st Jan. Over here, we remember what is the date? Over here, my year. Like 6th April, 5th April. Year ends on 31st Jan 24. So in between here, Jan and July end. Okay, yeah. So first payment is to be made on Jan 1, but which, Baba, class 2 NIC will not be paid. Only class 4. Yeah, class 4, you know, the temple, the person having job somewhere, like doing the business somewhere, yeah. So over here, my class 4 NICs. So first payment of income tax and class 4 NICs to be made, first payment. Second payment on 31st July of class 4. And before that, you remember, 31st Jan is a deadline for paying the electronic tax. Remember one thing, I told you, if it's electronic tax, 31st Jan. But if you are paying through writing the papers, if you're doing the paper filing, you have to pay back everything till 31st October. Okay. So if it's a balancing payment, okay, balancing payment over here, balancing payment of this first payment, if I did first payment, second payment, if there is any balancing payment, pay for that. But if I'm having any payment of CGT and plus if there is some capital gains taxes, plus there is any like class 2 NIC, then it's okay, you can directly pay on the last date. There is post payment or second payment or whatever due. Along with that, this is also very important. On this date, don't you think you'll be having one more responsibility on 31st Jan? Yeah, ma'am, in the next year if I have to pay class 1 and ma'am, the income tax I have to pay. Yes. That is the first payment again of the income tax and class 4 means exactly what it is over here. I have to pay in the next year also that much extra. Yes. So this is your thing which you need to learn it. I hope it's clear. Pretty easy. Yes. Please don't get confused. It's a revisionary part. I don't expect you need to be confused over here. So any repayment, yeah. If you're getting confused, please read it again. Pause the video for a while. Go back 5 minutes and come back again. Any repayment of taxes arising under the self-assessment. Let's say I have just find it out per tax in the self-assessment, and if I think that there is some repayment, I have to make the payments again. I usually dealt with the following submission. For example, the taxpayer who submitted the return on time, that is paper returns, paper tax. I have paid the paper tax till 31st October 2023 only. Can ask the HMRC to please calculate if you feel. See, when I am doing the paper thing, I am having a doubt. So I asked my HMRC to please calculate whether I have made anything wrong or not. For those who submitted electronically, can calculate it online. That's fine. Okay. Now what about the payment? Okay. How should I make the payment of accounts payments? The payment on account of income tax and class 4 NIC if appropriate are normally, you remember what I have to pay? Yes. Please try to understand it. It's important. The payment on account of income tax and class 4 NICs if appropriate are normally equal. See, each equal to half of the income tax plus NICs due on self-assessment tax of the prior year for second year's account. So means they are going to pay half of income tax and NIC but class 4. And no payment will be required either. Either these two things happens. Means if your income tax plus class 4 NIC is for the previous year is less than 1000, if your previous year is less than 1000, don't pay. Even if it's more than 80% of the income tax, payable plus class 4 NIC is already been settled by PAYE, then don't pay the advance tax like that way. Okay, for the taxpayers post year of self-assessment, there is payment on account will be not required. Means for the taxpayers post year of self-assessment, like you're the first time you're paying up the tax, then you don't have to pay. Only the balancing amount you have to directly pay on the last date. Right? So you don't have to pay part. You can directly pay at the end. That is, payments on account can be reduced where the tax payable by the self-assessment for the current year is expected. Yeah, please, this is also important. Payment on account can be reduced. How much payment I have to make can be reduced when the tax payable by the self person is expected to be less than the previous year's amount. Previous year what I was supposed to pay and current year what I am going to pay, if it is less than the previous year, the payments on this figure will be adjusted against the balance only. Yes. So however, if the payments on the account are reduced too much, interest will be due. I know it is very confusing, but if you read this question, you get to know more easily. So that's the reason I take up more questions. Yeah. See, example 2, self-assessment and payment thing. This is my previous year. This is my current year. Okay. This is my previous year. This is my current year. So if I just ask you, what's the current year's tax? Liability is 10,500, out of which 5,880 is already paid as PAYE. Okay. So what is your remaining balance? What's your remaining final remaining payment is how much? So remaining balance over here in the current year is how much? So maybe if you reduce it, do you get 4620 pound? Yes. I got that? Yes. Now if I see, okay, how much extra it is, like how much actually in the last year I was supposed to make the payments. On 31st Jan, how much you were supposed to make the payment? If you remember these previous year, you remember payments, how much I was making it in the current year. Let's say my year starts from this, okay. On 31st Jan 2023, I have to make some payments. For whom? For this year. Yeah, for this year. For this year, I have to make the payments. Like payments for this year, on account for this year, I have to make the payments. So how much payments will I make? Just think and tell me. Just think and tell me. Yeah. Baba, you have to think. You have to come up over here. I have to take up the difference between them. Yeah. I have to make the payments for 22-23, and how much will I make the payments? First of all, I would like to make the payments between the difference between this, which comes up to be 9500 minus 5510. Am I getting 3990? Yes. But half payments we make, isn't it? Half. So yeah, if it comes to half, divide by 2. Am I going to pay 1195, which is 3900? So yes, I'll be paying this much amount. So I need to pay this much amount. Agreed? Yes. So if we understand, in the current year, my liability was over here 4620, and out of which 3990 I made a payment for in the current year. 3990. So the balancing payment is to be paid at the end. So the balancing payment will be nothing other than 31st Jan will be 630. But if you see, this was for your previous year. This was for your previous year. Previous was opening. But now I have to also see for this current year. So current year's 50%, so I have to pay in the next year, isn't it? On 31st Jan 2024. Because my year ends on which date, guys? Okay, over here. If you can check it, Baba. My year ends on which date? Over here. 23-24, right? So it's 6th April 22 and 5th April 23. So over here, I have to make till the payment till 31st Jan 2024. And in between also I have to make the payments. So yeah, between wala payment is this. 31st Jan I will pay this much. 31st July I will pay this much. Agreed? Yes or no? Yeah, in this period I will pay half of the previous year. I will pay half of the previous year. Agreed? Yes or no? Understanding it? Yes. Now I have to make the payments, right? So first payment, how much I will make it? So the first payment I will make it of the difference, that is 4620 into 50%. It comes to 2310. 2310. Along with that, guys, some portion was remaining on this date, 630. So 630 I will pay it over here. On this date I will pay 630 plus 2310. Okay, I don't know whether I'll be able to go down or not. Yeah, are you getting it? So yes, that much I will pay on 31st Jan. Okay, that much I'll pay on 31st Jan, and the remaining I will pay in the next quarter, that is after 6 months. That is the remaining 2310. I hope it's clear. Yes. If not, please check it once again. Okay, please check it once again. Maybe similar thing you can get it over here also, but there is slight difference. If you can see in the current year, like this is my current year, this is my previous year, this is my current year. Let's say my previous year is 21 till 22. So maybe 6th April 21 till 5th April 22. So maybe my accounting period I have to pay till 31st Jan 2023. Over here, if you take the current year, it's like 6th April 22 till 5th April 23. So I have to make the payments till how much? 31st Jan 24. Okay. In this period, what is the difference, guys? So if you take the difference in the current period, over here my tax payable was 8000 and actually it is paid 55. So I have to extra pay 2450. Okay. So I feel like I have to base on the balance, I have to pay half. So if I do half, I feel like on 31st Jan 23, I'll pay half. Maybe afterwards also I'll pay half. So on 31st Jan 23, because why? You remember or not, in the current year, from when will I start making payments? Tell me. So this is your current period. So don't you make a payment here, Jan? After that, July also I make a payment. Like, see, yes, agreed? Jan I make the payment in July. So don't you pay half of? Let's say of these half of I made, that 31st Jan and 31st July. Is it not 1250, 1225? Yes, it's 1225. So there is nothing pending, okay? Agreed, yes or no? And then the balance will also be paid. Exactly. Clear? Clear, 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 clear. Because it's something lesser than the previous years, obviously. Because if you see this over here, what was the previous situations? As the current tax payable is less than the previous year, a election can be made to calculate whether you want to show it correctly or not. So if you check this, definitely it is lesser, 10,000 and 6,800. Is it coming to something to 3,200? Yeah, and current year it's less. So we can pay exactly amount. Easy? That's all. Now, having certain procedures for taking up the reliefs also. That is claims for reliefs means, claim for tax relief means, claims for tax reliefs, allowances and repayments must be made in writing. Like if I want to have some relief, if I don't want to pay some taxes, I want some benefits. So I have to write things in writing, okay, within a specified time limit. Okay, these are the things I want to take a benefit for. Again with the timeliness things. For the income tax purpose, claim on capital allowances like taking up the depreciation and all, yeah, allowances, personal allowances and all, losses, repayments, everything needs to be maintained clearly. When a claim relates to an earlier year, the tax liability for the earlier year is not adjusted. We cannot change anything and go in the back and change. Rather, so as to avoid reopening of the assessment, instead the tax reduction can happen in the earlier year. We can offset in the later tax years. Unless a specific alternative time limit appears, all the claims must be submitted within 4 years from the relevant date. Yes. Over here they have written, if the tax return is not submitted, yeah, if you're finding up the online return, okay, if the online return has not been submitted, okay, late return. If the tax return is not submitted for online, there is still 31st Jan, fixed penalty is liable. Penalty will be there, plus additional penalties can also be there. So what are the penalties? But the penalties you don't need to remember like more of the list, but it's given. If your date of return file like 0 to 3, there is a different £100 fixed penalty you have to pay. If it's 3 to 6 months delay, £10 per day from 1st May. From 1st May. Why 1st May? So you have to analyze from 1st May 2024. 1st May 2024 initially you have to make the payments. From 1st May 2024, your year ends on 31st Jan 2024. So Jan, Feb, April, March. So okay, from 1st May you have to pay up till 30 days. Sorry, up to 90 days, and initially 100 to fix it is there only. From 6 to 12 months, this is the penalty, which is $300 and 5. And the above penalty is plus this higher of anything. If it's 12 months over here, 12 months and more, if you have not yet paid the taxes, you have to pay the further penalty of this much, higher of so and so. Okay, you just need to remember things. Now the late payment and the penalty charges are there, which shows the balancing payment of like income tax and ICs and all. If they are not paid within 30 days, the balance also if they are not paid within 30 days, then more than 30 days late, 5% of the unpaid tax. More 6%, a further 5%, so it becomes a total of 10, and then it went to 15%. So if you understand this example, it's very simple. It's very simple. Unpaid taxes over here. Surcharges will be paid on the unpaid taxes. For example, if I have not paid till 2nd March, 5%. Like 30 days late, more than 30 days late, but lesser than 6 months, more than 6 months, further 5, it goes that way. Easy? Yeah. A single penalty regime is now applicable, including VAT also. So penalties which are based on what? Penalties based on incorrect taxes means we have some potential lost revenue. Why? The company has to pay the taxes. So for government it is a revenue, and if the people are not paying taxes, that means it's a potential loss for the government, right? So it's very bad, so it should not happen like that. No penalty will be applied if HMRC concludes that there is a misdeclaration and whatever the problem was genuine mistake, it's okay. If there was a genuine mistake, they will not sue so much things, but when it is intentional mistake, they will ask you a lot of penalties. Otherwise penalty will be there. Means if it's a genuine mistake, then it's okay. Otherwise the penalty will be what? Otherwise the size of the penalty will depend upon the cause of misdeclaration or the behavior in course of investigation. The maximum penalty can be reduced upon the prompt disclosure which should be made, getting the errors and recoveries. So even that can be done. Okay, just you have to read it. What's the penalty of misdeclaration? So penalty will be percentage of tax lost, that is maximum. If I have failed to take the reasonable care, then 30% maximum. Minimum 0, or minimum with prompted disclosure 15%. Deliberately, if I made it understatement 70, 20 and 35. Deliberately understand with concealment, mean my intention was already bad to conceal, so 100%. 30% with unprompted disclosures and 50 with prompted disclosures. Okay. Yeah. Note that these percentage are on the table, tax rates and allowances table also, so you don't need to worry. For example, if I fail to retain the tax records, if I didn't recorded it properly, if I just concealed it, means I have to maintain the records, but if I am not maintaining it, if I'm not retaining my tax records for like 5 years or 1 year, so what are the first of all records? So if I'm not maintaining it, I'll be having a maximum penalty of £3,000. Along with that, what are the things which I have to maintain? It's like annual statements, annual accounts, P&L account, bank statements, ledgers, cash book, bank book, everything. Okay, bank book, cash book, purchase book, invoices, other books, etc., which are helpful for taking up the decisions. So records for other taxpayers includes P60s, P11 DEC, bank statements and dividends. Cool. An individual has to notify HMRC, what is my tax liability? If you remember, 5th October, within 6 months, they have to notify. So notification must be made on 5th October only. And they have to file return, if it is paper thing, by 31st October. Yeah. Unless they receive a notice. Failure to notify will show me as a penalty in the incorrect return rules. So guys, this is important. It is there in your notes also. Means you will get it in your examination center also. If there is some delay, yeah, that is interest is to be paid. Yeah, it will be given in your exams. Or any untaxed paid. Yeah, if it's late. How much to be paid? When the tax is paid, yeah, if you remember, when the tax is paid in installment, yeah, 3 installments. Income tax and NICs and corporation tax of big companies, they have to pay on the due dates, right? So official rate will be 2%. But if I have underpaid tax, like I was supposed to make a payment more tax, but if I paid less, I have to pay an interest of 3.25%, multiply by how many months delay I did it. If I had paid over tax, I will get an interest of 0.50 only, because the government is not going to pay me extra. They will pay me to the max limit. Okay, they will not pay me anything extra. So if you remember, yeah, this is a very easy question which they have prompted us to like read it. Okay, interest on late payment. For example, the company calculated his balancing payment. Okay, he thought like on 21st 22 he was supposed to pay like 10,000 and he paid this on 1st November 23. So if you remember, the balancing payment, I need to make the balancing payment till 31st Jan 2023, right? So he paid on 1st November. Don't you think he has made a payment of 9 months delay? He delayed 9 months. How much? 10,000. So 10,000 into 3.25% into 9 by 12. So this is an interest you have to pay. That's all. Easy. That's all. Where a taxpayer claims to make reduced payment on the account of income tax or class 4 NICs, but the balancing payment still becomes payable, interest in charge on the understated amount. If you have not paid some less amount, understated amount only you have to charge. For this purpose, the understatement of each amount is the difference between how much actually you paid it and how much actually you were supposed to make the payment, plus any 50% balances, or if you have not made any claim. So it's a total. Over here, if you can read it over here, you will read it easily. Okay, this is also again important. So yeah, we'll just take some time and read it. Okay, there's a company, Eve is required to make income tax payments on account for the year of 22-23. Okay, based on the tax due from the assessment of 21. So if it's 21-22, yeah, 6/4/21, like 5/4/23, so 22. So over here, 1st Jan he'll pay, then July and then Jan. Okay, he has to make the payments on some dates. And for the current year, he has to make the payments on Jan and August. And at that date, he was supposed to make the payment of 2,800 each. For both the times, he was supposed to make 2,800 each. Okay. Because she expects her income tax liability for the current year would be less than the previous year, okay, she elects to make a reduced payment of 1,750 only. Okay, so what she did, guys, she has made a payment of 1750 only. She thought of making 1750, but do you think it's okay? So how much less she made the payment? So 2800 minus 1750. So she has made a payment of less payment of, let's say, 1050. She is expecting. Okay. However, my like the girl's final tax payable turns around to be actually 7200. Okay, but we know 7200 she has to pay in 2 equal installments, right? She was supposed to make her payments in 2 equal installments, which comes up over here to be some 3600. Yeah, so okay, 3600, and she paid a balance of 3700 at the end on 31st Jan. Okay, now what is she going to make the payments of? First of all, she has to pay the amount. How much? 3700 she made it payments, so 50% of that. So she paid 1750 and 50% she has to pay. So in short, she has paid 3600, and whichever is reduced, so we pay 2800. So if you see, there is a difference of 1050. So how much months she has not paid? So something which she was made to payment on 31st Jan 2023, she didn't pay till 31st Jan 2024 for the whole 1 year. So please multiply it with 4. Please multiply it with 4 for the whole year. So yeah, she has to pay the taxes for the whole year. Yeah, over here for the whole year. And if you remember, from 31st July till the date 31st Jan 2024, it's only 6 months. So we just multiplied it with 6 months. That's all. Okay, over here now just some very easy topics are remaining. So increased penalties for offshore matters. So if there is something increased, if I feel that the penalty is to be increased, so offshore matters relates to income which is arising from overseas also territories. A higher penalty regime is also there if there is some non-compliances. Penalty also depends upon the level, and yeah, it goes on. So simple. If they required, they can also have some inquiries set aside. Like inquiries means HMRC can inquire into tax return if they feel that the claims and all is not proper. Yeah, if they want a proper disclosure, they can ask. Inquiries can be from a simple question to investigation also. HMRC need not give any reason for inquiry. They don't have to ask, please can I come and do inquiry fraud? No, they don't want to give. Unless deliberately misstated or fraud, a notice can be given if you want to see. But still, there is no need to like ask them. Unless deliberate misstatement is suspected, notice can be given within 12 months. Yeah, fine. For corporation tax also 12 months notice we have to give it. Other notice we can give it for any amendment or maybe may not required. HMRC must inform the taxpayer that okay, when the inquiry is complete, they will come and check it. For example, if extra tax is to be due, HMRC must generally raise an additional assessment. A name of discovery means I want the amount back within 4 years or 6 years if it was tax was lost, 20 years if it was deliberately understated for fraud, and they can change the interest on that. So additional penalties can also be liable, okay, on them if they are making any return which is known as false return, false information, false accounting, forgery and all. So they have to maintain all those stuff clearly. So yes students, over here we have completed initially the first part of the chapter. Yeah, I just want to cancel it. Over here we have understood about the first part of the chapter, which I would love to explain you. Over here students, if you feel like this chapter is good along with the necessary adjustments, so try to even see the first part of your income tax. Yeah, along with the income tax, that is first of all income tax computation, which we have taken up in the YT. So yeah, I am so sure that it will be beneficial to you. So if you have any doubts, please just do message me in the chat or maybe in the Telegram or in the Instagram. Yeah, like we'll be always there. So yeah, thank you.